Hello, welcome back to the Spiritual Lounge with Courtney
and Nina
and Oliver. Taking
and
a chill
Oliver.
pill today.
Always.
Today we want to talk about how to manifest kind of your goals and how to know really if they don't align with you and what you should do.
Yeah.
I think that was a conversation we were just having of, as you go through this and you're trying to manifest and you're thinking, this is the new year, maybe you put together a beautiful vision board. We always love to do those. So fun to do. And figuring out, is there things that have been on your vision board for years that either haven't come to fruition or you're kind of wondering, is that something that I really want or I should be manifesting?
And I feel like that's half of the whole manifestation thing is are the things you're calling in, are they actually aligned? And I think that's a question. When you get to a certain point on your journey, you might be starting to ask yourself, because it's that thing where it's wait, is this what I really want? Or is the reason why this is not manifesting?
Oliver's just jumping through here. Are you trying to jump through a manifestation portal?
Exactly. Yeah, so it's that question of is there a block here? And it's I need to do more healing around this certain thing. Or is it just not really what I actually want?
Yeah. And I think there's such a big piece of that, right? It's
and there's
everybody
not a lot
sees
of content on this too.
No.
I feel like this is a hard thing to even Google or look up, because a lot of it's
how to manifest,
but not what if you have that question of wait, should I even be going for this? Yeah.
Someone was telling me, and I thought this was a really great thought on this, of in society we see success as luxury vehicles, nice big houses. Now it's kind of turned into owning farmland and doing that, right? Which, I mean, I get it. But I don't want to be out there shoveling the horse shit. I'll be real.
No.
But I would love some fresh eggs. If anyone has any local fresh eggs, I'm down. But I think there's a piece of it where some people are thinking I should aspire to have X, Y, and Z, and maybe it doesn't align with them. Someone I was just chatting with was I don't ever want a Lamborghini. That's not my jam. I don't care about driving. I'm not a big out there driving person. And I'm it's interesting because probably if you asked most Americans, they'd probably be yeah, I'll take a Lamborghini. How cool. But it's do you actually want that? Do you want the maintenance? Do you want to have to take care of it? Do you want to have,
Do you want the vibe that thing is giving too?
Or it's are you into vintage cars? Are you not even into cars? You know what I mean? There's such a different piece of that. And so I think there's a big chunk that we were just talking about of should I really be manifesting that? Is that something that aligns with me?
And because that can then be pretty discouraging too if you feel like you've been attempting to manifest something for a long time and nothing has really come through. And it can make you feel like maybe you're just really bad at manifesting, and it's usually because there's some sort of block there, or it's just really not for you. So, I mean, for me, kind of, if it's something I keep coming back to long term, that's typically a yes.
Kind of in your heart, right? We were just talking about this. I realized, ever since I was a kid, I grew up in the Midwest. And so it was really big culture to, go up north on the weekends and, spend time up north. And I was, telling her, I was oh, my God. I was just thinking, it would be nice to have a cabin up north. And I started thinking, I was oh, my God, I've been thinking about this since, the day I got my first job, my first big girl job out of college. And I was I should really maybe start taking that more seriously of, something. And I've had it on vision boards. And it's okay, I think if it's something that's been there for a while and it's deep in your heart and there's great reasoning for it, totally makes sense, go for it.
And I think that's a perfect example of something that is very much aligned, because it keeps coming back around for you, and it's something you keep gravitating towards and visioning and daydreaming about. When I think it's sometimes kind of off, as if it's a fleeting thing where you get maybe really excited about it because you might see it trending all over the place.
A new shiny toy.
Exactly, but then you give it a little bit of time and you start to realize, you know what, this isn't really I could go either way with it. It's not horrible, but it's not really
that's my thought on owning a bunch of land. I think it'd be great to own a bunch of land, but I don't want to maintain it. And I would love to have animals, but realistically, I am so attached emotionally to things. So a bunch of animals dying and taking care of and having to put them down, it would just be way too hard. I'm oh, they'd be beautiful. but like it's just not it's not something that I think is in the cards as much as, and I know it's become so trendy, right? Like, you know, get some land.
And then, you know, with social media too, we can see it playing out in other people's lives.
Yes.
And of course, we see the highlight reels on social media. We don't see, you know, the day-to-day as much.
Yeah.
So that can be really appealing too. But then when you sit with it and you maybe meditate with it and see how you feel with it, like long term.
Yeah.
Give it like even like a lunar cycle, and you can really see like, okay, with all the ebbs and flows with the energy, does this still feel like something that like excites me and feels like something that's
calling? Aligned. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break here. Nina is going to give us our little tarot reading for the week, and then we will be back.
Hello everyone, welcome to your tarot reading. This one is a special one because we're going to be taking a look at the energy that you want to take into consideration when you are choosing your goals, and kind of what the message is here regarding, are these goals, are these desires in alignment with your heart and what your soul truly wants. So let's pick a few cards. Let's see. Okay, interesting. We have the Six of Cups. We have the Six of Swords. And we have the Three of Pentacles. So you got options. And that's very much on point with just sitting down to make your goals, right? Sitting down to think ahead of what you actually want. You are considering a lot of different things right now. This Six of Swords is interesting because what's on your heart and what's really what you're wanting to bring in is actually going to be a departure from what you've been doing in the past. You are quite literally rowing away from some of the things that you used to want to call into your life and want to manifest. Those things aren't really in alignment with who you are. And you know this on a mental level too. Anytime you see the suit of swords, it's all about the mental plane. And you're pretty aware that a lot of the things that you were pursuing in 2024 wasn't actually the best fit for what you wanted long term. And that can come out in a lot of different ways. It can come out in stress. It can come out in things just not coming through, right? Like we were just talking about earlier in the episode, where you're starting to wonder, am I just not great at manifestation? Probably not. It's either you have a block here, or it's just not in alignment. This card signifies that it's just not in alignment. So if you want to start opening up the floodgates to abundance, it's going to come through you choosing a new thing for yourself. And finally, this Three of Pentacles, this is all about putting in the work, but it's also studying. So this new chapter for you, there might be something that you're going to need to learn how to do better. And sometimes we just want to like rush into the next thing, and we feel like we have to be there like right now, but sometimes we need to go slow in order to go fast. It's kind of one of those things. Our mind loves to tell us that we have to just make that next move like tomorrow, and we have to be there, and we have to have it all together. Sometimes taking that step back and slowing down will actually speed you up long term, because this is a foundational card. This Three of Pentacles there's almost like a mentorship aspect. Like you're learning the ropes from someone who knows how to do this thing a little bit better than you, and they have the experience. So you're laying that foundational groundwork, very root chakra based, this card. And this card is also going to open up a lot of opportunities to you, because when you start making those connections in person, when you start working with a mentor or hiring a coach or taking a class or course, learning how to do something at a higher level, you're gonna meet people through that as well. So that's what I say, like when you slow down to speed up, it actually catapults you further, because you're doing those little things that all these other things are playing into it and are actually going to benefit you long term. So this one is really the crux of this reading is you have a lot of options. a lot of the stuff you were pursuing in 2024 wasn't truly in alignment with what you want. And then this Three of Pentacles, don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board, go back to learning, taking some courses, taking some classes, because that's really going to be the thing that's in alignment with you. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and let's get back to the rest of the episode.
Hi, hey guys, welcome back. Ollie's back into his normal position, right?
Settled down.
Yes. All right, so over the break, we were just high level talking here about, with these aligned goals, a lot of times, like we were just talking about, like the lunar cycle, like give it a hot minute to kind of like settle in.
And that's something I learned from actually human design, because I'm a human design reflector. And so our thing is we have to wait a lunar cycle. Well, we're strongly advised to wait a lunar cycle before making a decision, because if you're familiar with human design, it's all about the different spots of the body, and we're completely open. So we have absolutely no definition, and we're like lunar beings. So anything can sound good because we're completely open, but we have to give it, to give it the full 28 days at least to really see if it's aligned with you. Otherwise, you can end up jumping into things that might not be aligned. So really, when it comes to setting goals and deciding what you want to manifest, you don't have to just jump into things. You really can give yourself some time. Like, you're not running out of time too. Right. Like, time can be a weird thing, but if you're in this energy of like, I need to make a decision right now, that's probably coming from unhealed energy in your body, because there's always more time. You're never too late. You're right where you need to be when you're aligned. And a lot of the outer circumstances don't really even matter, because when you are in alignment and you're running clean energy in your system, things just kind of unfold naturally too. And that's what I've noticed.
I definitely agree with that. And I think, another big piece of like this manifestation, knowing if it's right or not, is, so like, for example, I found my passion into, crystal singing bowls, and you for tarot readings, right? And I always envisioned, like, I just want to have an online business. I was so against certain things, and I want to be in person. And now I'm like leaning more towards being in person, and different opportunities are coming. And so I kind of laugh of like, I know I was meant to be here, but it took me the time to get to the place where I was like open enough to like do things differently. And I think, especially when manifestations come through, it's not always how you expected it.
No, it isn't. And it requires growth too, like on your part. So even though it's really positive, and it's like going in the right direction for you,
in the moment, it doesn't always feel
always feel great, and there is an adjustment period. And I feel like people don't talk about that with manifestation as much, because
it's like shiny and fun.
And it's this idea like that the end result has no issues, everything's just perfect, you're automatically adjusted to it, and that's not really been my experience.
No, like even right now, I was telling her, like, I'm going through this weird phase and something else in my life, and I'm like, man, I'm like in the trenches of this shit, and I'm like, I know it's gonna be fine, but it's just
in the moment, and then it gets you questioning, like, well, if this was in alignment, wouldn't it be just so much easier and just fall into place? But I feel like when you are in those moments where you're like, oh my god, I'm just ready to like burn everything to the ground and move on, just take a beat. Take a few days. Just let this too shall pass. That's a very true thing. And just give yourself an opportunity to let things settle. Let things kind of just balance back out.
And I think that is so important, and that's kind of where we're going with this. Like, when you're manifesting and you're figuring out, just be okay with not knowing all the answers. Be okay with having it flow in a completely different way, right? Like, I think about just in general, like bigger life changes in my life, and it's like it never happens the way that I thought it was going to happen. As much as you want to plan and think about it and like manifest and feel in that energy.
And there's no way that you can possibly even know all the details, especially if it's something you haven't yet experienced. We like to think we have it all figured out.
We're 15 steps back. It's like, okay.
But and that's kind of when you have to leave room for the magic too. Because
that's true.
When you get too planned and too,
regimented in it.
Yes, you can end up missing a lot of good things too.
And missing like your day-to-day life. It's like you get really ingrained in things, and So Well, thank you guys for joining us here today.
Yes.
And we're going to pass you off to a mindful minute to help you zen out and get back into your body.
And realign with what you truly want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Hello, and welcome to this Mindful Minute. Today, we're going to be focusing on goal setting, manifestations, and really connecting in. If you could please close down your eyes, find a comfortable position, and take a few deep breaths. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. And in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And one more, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Envision you stepping into your dream life. Looking around. What do you see? Are the floors the same? Are the walls the same? You look outside. Are you in a new location? Somewhere warmer? Somewhere further out of the city? Do you listen? Do you hear birds chirping? How does it feel to be in this new life? Do you feel energized? Do you feel spontaneous? Do you have beautiful routines in place to build the best version of yourself? What does this dream life feel like? As you slowly come back into the room, wiggling your fingers and toes, take this feeling with you of your dream life, how you felt being in that body, the things you did with your day, things you see, feel, hear, can touch, and really embrace and step into this new version of yourself. Thank you for joining me here today and for this mindful minute, and we'll see you next week.